Kelly from the Traveling Yoga Company, and today's Mindful Monday, I'm going to talk about something that I came across in my reading. Like, I read all the time about yoga and trying to improve my classes, and I came across this thing that said laughter yoga, and so I looked it up and did a little research, and I found that it's actually a type of yoga that where it really has a lot to do with breathing, diaphragmatic breathing, and doing like ways of doing yogic breathing, pranayama, and at the same time laughing. So you don't even really realize that you're doing a specific breathing exercise. It was invented in 1995 by a doctor in India named Dr. Kataria, and it's just really funny, and the body does not know the difference between real laughing and fake laughing. And then when you actually fake laugh, it eventually becomes real laughing. And there's a lot of good health benefits to laughing and to clapping. So part of it is you start with clapping. So what I did is when I discovered this, I read about it and I watched some videos, and then I thought, well, I'm going to add in between different sequences, do a little laughing exercise to break up the yoga class and to help relieve stress, because that's what laughing does. It helps to relieve stress. So starting with the clapping, when you're clapping your hands together like this, you are putting pressure on 30 different acupressure points that are on the palms of your hands and ultimately could on your wrists too. So there's actually something you can do where if you clapped for 15 minutes, that gives you great health benefits of reducing cortisol, reducing stress, but I don't really think people are going to really clap for 15 minutes per se. So by doing the clapping, you are activating the acupressure points, and by doing that, it increases energy, which is chi or prana in yoga terms. And it helps circulation, reduces stress by lowering cortisol. And so you can do it palm to palm like this, and that stimulates internal organ function and circulation. You can clap fingertip to fingertip, which is not really clapping, right? But this is good for your nose and your sinuses and your eyes. And then there was clapping the backs of your hands together, and that's supposed to be hitting the acupressure points. Acupressure and acupuncture, it's the same points, just one using needles and one is using pressure. But hitting the backs of your hands together is good for your spine and your lower back health. So anyways, so if you're going to do the laughter yoga, what we did is just before my slow flow vinyasa that I just did, I introduced this to my class. And so the first thing we're going to do is clap. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. And then eventually we're looking each other in the eye. Ho, ho, ha, ha, ha. Ho, ho, ha, ha, ha. And then you're looking at each other. All the different students are looking at each other, and you're just continuing to do this ho, ho, ha, ha, ha. And then eventually people start laughing. And it's so funny because you feel like kind of silly, right? And you're clapping, but it kind of grounds you. It's energetic. It's a good way to start the class. And then we go right into the class. So then in between each of the sequences, so once we do our warm up and sun salutations and a moon salutation, then before we start our warrior sequence, I had them do another funny thing. And this one was you make eye contact with each other and shake hands. So everybody had to look each other in the eye and shake hands and start laughing. So making yourself laugh. So no one's saying jokes or anything. You're just making yourself laugh. So shaking hands, looking the other person right in the eye and going, ha 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 ha. And just everyone started laughing. It was hilarious and it was really funny. And it's a stress relief and it's funny and it's just, I feel like laughter is just great after a long day at work and coming to yoga class, and a good transition into that next sequence. And then, so once we're done with our warrior, then we go on to our chair sequences. So I guess I'm telling you about how my vinyasa flows. So then we do the chair sequence with all the poses related to that. And so we did another funny thing, and this one was pretending that you're on the phone. I never know how to do that. This is how you do it, like a comedian does, right? So pretending you're on the phone and somebody is just making you die laughing. So once again, you're looking at each other. So it's all about eye contact, looking at each other, ha 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 ha, and just laughing your head off, like as though someone said the funniest thing in the world. So that was a nice little fun thing to do too. And so after chair, we do our whole thing about the chair, and then we get into balancing poses. So then we did one more thing, and then this was called argument laughter. So you're going to be pointing at someone, looking them in the eye, and instead of yelling at them, because we're not going to be yelling at people in yoga, you burst out laughing. So everybody went around looking at each other, just laughing. Ha, 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 ha. And you know, when you make yourself fake laugh, eventually it really becomes real laughter. And then it's just so funny. So I don't know. I just thought that was like a really fun way to break up the different flows that are, or sequences of flows that are within the vinyasa. So I think that's all I wanted to say. You might want to look it up. They have videos on YouTube, and it's Dr. Kataria, and they actually have like laughter yoga clubs in India that people join, and they're just spending time laughing together. So thanks for listening, and I hope you liked this and thought about the health benefits of laughter. So thank you. And if you like what you're hearing and seeing, follow my YouTube channel and follow me on social media. And if you'd like to know more about coming to classes at the Traveling Yoga Company, send me a message and you could join my email list, which is where I tell the first group of people about my classes each week, because my classes are similar each week, Mondays and Tuesdays, but they're a little different because I do the traveling yoga off to different places as well. And then Sundays, I typically have a relaxing yoga about 3 p.m. So restorative with Reiki or a sound bath. So thanks again. Okay, bye.